This Gunna, you listen to RNS, real nigga shit. You dig?
What's good, people? Welcome back to another episode of RNS. It's been a minute. It's been longer than a minute. There's been a couple World Cups. There's been a lot of things happening, but we are back because the Premier League starts in just a couple days' time. And we are so excited. We thought, you know what, we had to jump on. We had to preview the season. I'm back with the one and only KWEKU'S, who was out in America for the World Cup. Kweku, what was the World Cup like? What was it saying for you?
Yeah, it was amazing, man. It was an incredible experience. Obviously, me and you have covered AFCONs and Euros together. Obviously, it was an expanded World Cup, so technically the biggest World Cup of all time. And I think it delivered on a lot of fronts. Obviously, we know about the controversy and Trump making the phone call to Infantino and the fallout from all of that stuff. But in terms of football, especially at the beginning of the tournament, the quality was there. Big players were delivering. You think about Erling Haaland, Lionel Messi, Kylian Mbappe, Harry Kane, Jude Bellingham. All the superstars came to show. Goal come to show out at the beginning of the tournament, and it was good, man. I think the right team won it, and as a personal experience, it was always a dream to cover a World Cup and to do that in America. Yeah, man, I had a good summer. I'm tired though, Tony. I'm tired.
Well, football doesn't care if you're tired because it's already back, baby. It's already
Yeah.
back. It don't care. It feels like we haven't had a proper break,
Mm.
personally and truly. But the World Cup is over. The Premier League starts this weekend, and you know what, Quaker, we can start with just previewing the teams, having like who do you think is going to get relegated, who do you think is going to win the league. But I want you to talk about your team, Chelsea, first, just because
Mm.
I feel like you want to get it off your chest. I feel like this has been the Chelsea have been the biggest spenders so far of the transfer window, right? So
Mm.
tell me, looking at this season with a brand new manager, a manager who's never played in the Premier League before, what do you expect for Chelsea this season?
Um, I'm very, very hopeful for the season. For Chelsea, I look at this Chelsea team, and obviously there's so many unknowns. The chief one being our manager's never managed in the Premier League before, but he's played in this league and he knows what this league is about, and he picked Chelsea for a reason. And it's important to note that he's our manager, not head coach, which I think is an important distinction. If you look at the previous Chelsea head coaches that came in, a Potter or a Rosenior or a Pochettino or a Maresca, they didn't really have the autonomy to make decisions and call the shots. We are seeing it with the transfer activity in and out, and we're seeing it with the way that he's talking. Alonso is the manager, and he's in control of a lot of the football club, and that's what we've needed. Somebody to come and take the bull by the horns and build the team in his image. And I think we've seen that already in this transfer window, the players that he's brought in, some of the players that he's tried to bring in as well. And I'm really hopeful for this season. I know that Chelsea last season had a terrible showing, finishing mid-table, no qualification for Europe. But I think that will serve us well going into this season where it's one game a week. You'll know that yourself. One game a week, we've seen in recent seasons as a huge benefit for a multitude of clubs, and trying to juggle European and Premier League football when you're not ready for it or not quite at that level has proved detrimental to clubs like Spurs or Man United who've struggled in previous seasons. And so I look at Chelsea and I'm hopeful. I look at Chelsea and I'm optimistic. I look at Chelsea as a mound of clay that needs to be molded. But if molded correctly by the right sculptor, yeah, we're in business, man. We've got a manager that just 12 months ago or 18 months ago, if you'd asked people whose stocks are higher, Xabi Alonso's or Mikel Arteta, almost everyone to a man would have told you Xabi Alonso. Obviously, 18 months is a long time in football and things change, and we know what happened at Real Madrid with Xabi Alonso. But right now, he's at a club that have given him the keys to the kingdom, and he's looking to build. And I'm not going to sit here and say that he's definitely going to be the man to build that Chelsea empire or rebuild that Chelsea empire, but we're taking steps in the right direction. I think this season we're going to surprise a lot of people. One game a week, three at the back. I've seen it before. The last time Chelsea won a title, the last time Chelsea even challenged for a title was 16-17. A manager that came into this league famed for playing the back three. A Chelsea team the season before finished 10th. A Chelsea team who had no Europe. A Chelsea team who stormed the league in 16-17, accumulating over 90 points under Antonio Conte with Victor Moses and Marcos Alonso as wingbacks. And so I've seen this story before. I'm a Chelsea fan that's seen nutty things. I've seen my team win Champions Leagues out of nowhere. I've seen my team win league titles out of nowhere. And this season has just given me that feeling, that sense that something special could happen. Let's see. Let's see how it all plays out. But I'm very, very excited.
Okay. No, you know what? I didn't rate Chelsea, and I haven't rated Chelsea for a minute, but that's given me some optimism, and it's intrigued me. The question I want to ask you now is that, okay, I totally agree with you in the fact that Chelsea, when everyone's playing in Europe and you're playing one game a week, that's an advantage. We saw Michael Carrick benefit from it last season, and it got Man United probably their best finish post-Fergie points-wise. What I want to ask you, though, is where does that look into the scope of things? Is that a top 4 finish? Is that maybe the league? Because you were talking about 16-17 in the league, and I think going to win the league in your first season, you're asking for maybe too much. Like, looking at the transfers you've made this season, like, where can you place Chelsea? You don't have to give me like an exact number, but is it top 3? Is it top 4? Is it just a top 6?
Top 4 is an absolute minimum. If he doesn't finish in the top 4, he should get sacked.
Wow.
or qualify for the Champions League. Yep, come on, man. We are looking at a league that doesn't have a Guardiola. We're looking at a league that doesn't have a Jurgen Klopp. We're looking at a league that doesn't have a Jose Mourinho. Those are all managers that were in the league the last time Chelsea won the league in 16-17. The league was in a better place, and Chelsea still ran away with that league. Pep was there, Mourinho was there, Klopp was there. Now we're looking at Iraola, Maresca, Arteta. Managers cut from a different cloth. A much more fertile ground to plant your seeds and to grow that oak tree that Chelsea are looking to build. And we haven't had that since 2016-17 where we won the league. Yes, there's been a Champions League subsequent to that, but the league is what I want. The league is what the Chelsea fans want. And when I look at the lay of the land, we can say it right now that we have to give credit to Arteta. He won the league. And if you're ranking the managers in the league right now, you put Arteta maybe number 1. You put Emery up there as well. But barring those two managers, and with Emery, let's see, because whenever he plays in the elite European competitions, his team struggle. And we've not seen him challenge for a league title in England before. But barring Arteta and maybe Emery, there's no manager I'm taking over Xabi Alonso. There's no game I'm going into where I'm thinking, oh, that manager might have something up his sleeve that Alonso can't deal with. Yeah, some teams might have better players. City have better players. Liverpool might have better players. But I don't think those two teams have better managers. And I've experienced the Maresca kind of roller coaster at Chelsea personally. And he's a good manager in big games. But is he a league title winner manager? I don't know. I've seen Iraola take Bournemouth to 6th. Impressive, right? Selling their best players year on year, window after window. But is he a Premier League winning manager? I don't know. All I know is that I saw Xabi Alonso, granted you can say it was in the Bundesliga, but go unbeaten against a dominant Bayern side. And the only game he lost in that season was the Europa League final. He achieved things that Bayer Leverkusen fans thought they'd never see. They were nicknamed Bayer always losing. By the end of that season, it was Bayer never losing because of what Xabi Alonso built. And so I'm very optimistic, and it's less so about the quality that we've got in our team, even though I do think we've got some good players, but it's more about looking at the rest of the league saying, okay, this is Michael Carrick's first full season in the Premier League. This is Roberto De Zerbi's first full season at Spurs. This is Maresca's first season at Man City. This is Iraola's first season at Liverpool. And this is, yes, of course, this is Xabi Alonso's first season at Chelsea, but I think he's a better manager than all those guys. And Arsenal, of course, the favourites. Arsenal, a team that we're all looking up at. Arsenal, a team that demolished Man City in the Community Shield. Again, that we shouldn't read too much into, because I saw Darwin Núñez dunk on Erling Haaland in the Community Shield, and we know how that story ended. But I'm very optimistic, and I've seen the story before, and I think if Chelsea get off to a strong start, then there's no reason why we shouldn't be title challengers this season.
All right, and one last question about Chelsea, because this might link onto the next team we talk about. Are you more optimistic because of what Chelsea have done and what you're going to get from Chelsea? Because we still don't know what we're actually going to get. Or are you more optimistic because of the lay of the land and what's going on in the Premier League? And it's unprecedented that we have all these teams and we're really chasing an Arsenal team that it seems the neutral don't really rate.
Yeah, neutral fans don't rate, but the bookies clearly rate them. And if we're talking about it realistically, without our tribal hats on, we know they're the best team in the league. Like they've been there or thereabouts for the last 3 or 4 seasons. We might not like the way they get it done. We might not like the style of football, but they're the most consistent and they're the best team in the league. And they should be favourites to defend their title for the first time since the 30s, by the way. And so this is more a mixture of what we've done in the window, our manager that we've got, and the lay of the land. It's a mixture of all three. But I look at our team, right? And you say there's some unknowns, and that's true. And defensively, we've been poor for the last 3 or 4 seasons, or 2 or 3 seasons. But I look at our front three of Cole Palmer, of Morgan Rogers, of João Pedro, all players that scored double figures in the Premier League last season. João Pedro, whose biggest kind of criticism when he joined Chelsea from Brighton was like, yeah, he scored double figures for Brighton in the Premier League, but most of them were penalties. Last season, only Erling Haaland scored more open play goals than João Pedro. He scored 15 open play goals in the Premier League. Bear in mind, if you add those penalties that Enzo Fernandez was taking last season, that's a 20-goal season for João Pedro, who doesn't miss penalties. And so I think in a player like that, we're looking at one of the best forwards in the league. Cole Palmer's not been at his best for a couple of seasons now, but in a really poor season for him last year, still scored 10 league goals. And Morgan Rogers, who had probably one of the best seasons of his career at Aston Villa, a man that multiple teams wanted, we showed what the hierarchy was. We showed what the food chain was. Arsenal wanted him. Nah, stay there. We got Morgan Rogers in. So that front three, I don't think there's many better front threes in the Premier League, if I'm being honest, in my personal opinion. I think you can maybe look at City, and when you got Haaland in your front line and Semenyo, who scored a lot of goals last season, you can have that argument. But I'll take my front three over Arsenal's. I'll take my front three over Liverpool's. I'll take my front three over United's. I'll take my front three over Spurs. And that might be me speaking as a fan, but the numbers also, I think, back it up. And the performances and the credibility of those players back it up. So that's just the front three. The midfield, again, depends on the system that Javi Alonso plays, but I think he's going to go 3-4-3. Caicedo maybe had a down season last year, but on his day is one of the best midfielders in the league, if not the world. And I look at the person next to him is the biggest question mark. Do Chelsea keep Enzo Fernandez? And it's an Enzo Fernandez that I don't even personally rate that highly. I think he's got good qualities, but I think we saw it in the World Cup in the semi-final where everyone wants to point to that his behaviour in terms of the conduct, the hitting Elliot Anderson over the head, the celebration. No one wants to talk about the performance and the goal.
The performance, the goal, yeah.
The goal was a worldie, and this is an Argentina team that weren't looking to play football the whole tournament, but when they were asked to play football, Enzo Fernandez and Alexis McAllister outplayed Declan Rice and Elliot Anderson. And so you can tell me that you think Declan Rice is better than Enzo Fernandez. You can tell me that you think Elliot Anderson is better than Fernandez until it's time to be better than Fernandez. And when it was time to be better than Fernandez, we saw who come up trumps in a team that I think was less talented than England's. And so if Enzo stays, Enzo and Caicedo in that midfield together, maybe playing the Xhaka role that they did at Leverkusen for Alonso. And then the back three that I personally go with is Lacroix in the middle, Levi Colwill on the left-hand side, and Reece James as the right centre-back. Whether he goes with that remains to be seen. But I think that team, despite not being vintage by Chelsea standards, is way, way, way overqualified to finish for the top four. And the team that I think should be challenging for the league.
Yeah. No, you know what? When you put it like that and that team can only have to play one game a week, I can agree with you. I think Chelsea could make the top four quite easily. The only one thing is Cole Palmer, because you said it, it's 2 seasons now. And I like to refer to Cam Newton, and what he said on his podcast is that, you know, Cole Palmer came in and he was saying this about Keon Coleman, but Cole Palmer was coming in and saying, oh, like chippy chips and stuff like that. And we like that, but he's not regarded as a young player at Chelsea anymore. He's probably regarded as still your best player, right? Mm-hmm. Like even though a bad season for him is 10 goals, right? And for any midfielder, winger, whatever you want to call him, that's great, really and truly. 10 Premier League goals in a bad season is great. But we need the Cole. If you guys need to do something, we need the Cole Palmer from 2-3 years ago, right? Yeah, that's the Cole Palmer we need, because and I'm just saying we just need to make sure that's now 2 seasons where I'm not even saying those 2 seasons have been bad, but the 2 seasons haven't been the same as those previous ones. And people are going to start changing their perception, especially with a missed World Cup. Hopefully he comes back with that fire in his belly. I don't know why I'm giving you Chelsea prop, but I'm just saying that if Cole Palmer doesn't go back to the 2 seasons he was, like, people are not going to give him that leeway anymore.
Okay, so like let's just go through Cole Palmer's. I'm not even doing other competitions because Chelsea haven't always been in the Champions League. I'm just going through pure numbers in the Premier League. First season, 22 league goals. Like, for a player that's not a striker, amazing numbers. Second season, which people said, again, he's fallen off a little bit, 15 league goals. Is that not Bukayo Saka's best ever season? And that's in the season that people said he fell off. And then last season, where he missed, I think he played 26 league games. And I don't know how many of them he started. And he still gave you 10 league goals in a bad season. This is a Cole Palmer now who is fit, had the summer off. He will give you 10 seasons in 10 goals in a terrible season. So a Cole Palmer that's well rested and fire in his belly because he didn't go to the World Cup. God forbid I don't even know what we're going to see this year. We're going to see Cole Palmer on smoke, and now he's playing with his boy Morgan Rogers. We're going to see two of them. We're going to see two of them at the bridge, and João Pedro, who I can't talk highly enough about. João Pedro, who for me, come the end of the season, obviously Haaland is always going to be considered the best striker in the league until the day he dies.
Careful now.
But behind Erling Haaland, there's not. By the end of the season, there won't be a conversation about who the next best striker in the league is. That's going to be João Pedro. Because I look at it right now, and who's the candidates? Give me the candidates. Isak,
which we don't know what we're going to get from Isak. Gyökeres, need I say more? Benjamin Sesko.
Igor Thiago, Benjamin Sesko.
Hey man, listen, I like Igor Thiago, but let's just see if he does it again in it.
Yeah, exactly. See if he does it again. And when I look at João Pedro last season, they didn't only score Premier League goals, but scored important Champions League goals as well for Chelsea. I see a player that he's just getting better. And it's not just his ability to put the ball in the back of the net, which is very, very good and very, very high. His ability to just bring people into play. Bro, there's people in Brazil that want Carlo Ancelotti's head on a spike for not taking João Pedro to the World Cup and starting Igor Thiago in your first game against Morocco. What was that about? And we saw what happened. We did see Igor Thiago from that moment. João Pedro is a top quality forward. I think this year in the Premier League will show you that he's world class, and I think he'll be a huge reason why if Chelsea achieve what I think they can achieve, he'll be one of the key reasons for it. And so, bro, I'm excited. Obviously, this is the part of the season, bro. You can be a fan, right? You can be a fan. You can be excited. You can kind of get excited about your football club, but that optimism is rooted in some reality, in the reality of the rest of the teams in the league and what I think we can achieve when these players play at their very best. Let's see if they play at their very best. I think they will be at their very best, and I think Chelsea challenge for the league title.
All right. Well, you said it first. Chelsea challenge for that league title. If Chelsea are ever going to challenge for that league title, they then need to challenge the leaders, dare I say it, Arsenal, who demolished City 3-0 in the Community Shield last weekend. What are we expecting from Arsenal? I think we can both, because I don't think they've done that much in the transfer window. Currently, as of the time of recording, there's a bomber from Ornstein saying that Ezri Konsa is on his way over to the carpet. So that's another.
Whoa! I missed that.
Ezri Konsa. Yeah. It was literally just before we started recording. So another centre back to probably play as a fullback, with Arteta's fetish for fullbacks. Just for centre backs, really and truly. Can we both agree that this is Arsenal's title to lose? And 100%. Do you think? So, if we both agree with that, do you think we will see a different Arsenal than what we saw last season?
Do you know what? I think we obviously give a lot of credit to managers. And again, we live in a world where it's a manager's game right now, where it's more about systems than it is about individuality. But I think Arsenal's style of play is heavily dependent on how good Martin Odegaard is. Because when Arsenal were at their very best, Odegaard was one of the best 10s in the league in terms of keeping things ticking, scoring goals, assisting. He made things fluid. And he brought that fluidity to what is a pretty meat and potatoes midfield. But
is it meat and potatoes now with Bruno Guimaraes?
It's still meat and potatoes. Bruno Guimaraes is what's the Brazilian equivalent of meat and potatoes?
Patatas bravas and then
like he's very Premier League coded. Do you know what I mean? He's not Brazilian in his mentality, his style of play. Maybe he is, but like he's a very Premier League coded player. Whereas I think Martin Odegaard at his very best could go and play football in other leagues and look very, very good. And so if he's at his best, I think Arsenal will be a little bit more fluid than we've seen them in previous seasons. If he's not, you play a more conventional midfielder in that 10 role, and then you kind of lose that fluidity. I think Arsenal will try and play football, but if shit hits the fan, they'll default to type, and that's be defensively solid, relying on set pieces and winning games however they can win games. And that's been a recipe that won them the league title last season. I think they'll try and be a bit more expansive this season now they've got the monkey off their back. But if things that aren't going well at the beginning of the season, they'll revert to type and do what got them to the dance. And so, yeah, let's see with Arsenal. They should definitely be the favourites. I think the Community Shield has reinforced that in people's minds. But let's not get it twisted. There was money in the bank to bring in Vinicius Jr., right? They were interested in Vinicius Jr. And if that money in the bank is still sitting in there, don't get gassed off of a performance in the Community Shield from Solis, who might go on to be a top player. Go and try and get better. I hate the discourse around Arsenal. Again, I get football tribalism. Other football fans laugh and being like, I can't believe you thought you'd get Vinny. I'm like, what? They're just trying to get better and we're laughing at it. Like, they're trying to do what you're supposed to do when you win a league title and get better from a position of strength. And the Vinny thing didn't happen, and yeah, he might have used them for leverage, but I think that approach suggests that Arsenal are looking to get stronger, are looking to build a dynasty, are looking to build a legacy that they haven't had for over 20 years. And I think that left-hand side is still an issue. Go and improve it. And if they go and improve that, say Arsenal brought in Vinny, I don't think it'd be a question of who would be the favourites for the title in everyone's mind. The question is that front three magic enough? I don't think it is as currently constructed. They need to go and bring in another forward. But Arsenal are clearly the best team in the country.
Yeah, like I hate to say it, but they are the best team in the country. They've got that consistency under Mikel Arteta. Is he now the longest serving manager in the Premier League?
Yeah,
he must be, and he only got there in 2019. So they've got that continuity, and continuity is a massive thing in any sports. When you know what you're coming into with a new season, you know what the manager wants, you know how you're going to work, and everyone is familiar with each other. It's so much easier to win games, especially when there's 9 different managers doing their first season in the Premier League. So I think that continuity, that base, that defense that Arsenal already have, are probably going to make them the favourites. I still don't think I'm going to get anything expansive from Arsenal, just because, again, it depends on Martin Odegaard, and I'm not sure you can heavily rely on Martin Odegaard to do that week in, week out. I just feel like if Arsenal are going to win the league once again, it's going to be that teams can't beat them. And that's my worry. I feel like if anyone's going to win the league against Arsenal this season, they have to lose. They have to try and win more games than Arsenal, and they have to lose less games than Arsenal. And I think the hardest one is probably losing less games than Arsenal. I don't think Arsenal are going to lose that many games. I know Saliba's out for a long time. I don't know when he's going to come back, but they've got that back four, and now with Ezri Konsa possibly coming in, that back four is just going to be solid, and it's going to be so hard to go up against. And even if they don't win that many games, I just don't think other Premier League teams are going to be good enough to beat them. So dare I say it, I think Arsenal are the favourites, and I don't hate it. I just feel like it's just going to be hard to take down this Arsenal team. But the fact that people are looking at this Arsenal team and saying we can get at them shows that the gap is not that far. I think the gap is not player quality, it's more consistency. And one thing Arsenal have shown over the past 3-4 years is that they're going to consistently win games in the Premier League, and they're going to consistently be up there. So one team I would like to have a bit of consistency is that one right there. United.
All right, let me play role of moderator and throw you a few questions about Manchester United, because we talk on the phone a lot, and we speak about United, and then you accuse me as a Chelsea fan of being a fan, saying, "Can't believe you think Chelsea can do this because you're a fan, blah blah blah." And this is the most positive. This is the most positive, I'd say, 9-month stint I've seen you as a Manchester United fan in a long time. The cloud has been lifted. You're invested in your club again. You're watching comps. You're re-engaging with the online fan base. You're back. You're back. Which is nice to see, because you were gone for a little while. I think Amram had you on suicide watch.
Yeah, he did.
But with Manchester United, they're a team that last season went from 15th to 3rd under Michael Carrick, and we can't deny the job that Michael Carrick had done at Manchester United.
He took over, we were 7th or 6th.
No, you went from 15th to 3rd. You went 15th the year before, you finished 3rd. I think people, rightly so, are looking at United as a wait and see situation, just because we need to see how you deal with playing European football. But as a United fan, having finished 3rd last season, what's your expectations for this year?
Okay, the right answer should be 3rd again, or anything within 3rd to 1st, and maybe a trophy. That should be the right answer for Manchester United. But having heard Michael Carrick, because Michael Carrick hasn't really done that much media throughout pre-season, because, he's Michael Carrick, he isn't going to give you much. He said that, do you know what, this is a special group of players and we could do something. So I feel like Man United need to look from 3rd being the minimum and looking up. Now, do I think we're better than Arsenal? On a one-off game, yeah. But I feel like I'm not sure if Man United could go to the places that Arsenal are going to go to away from home and get 3 points quite comfortably. I still don't know that yet. And that's my worry. The transfer window so far, as of the time of recording, Belaber's closing in on a deal for United. We've signed Santos, we've signed Yuri Tielemans, we've signed Carl Darlow as a backup, we've signed Tienan Thompson. it's not that bad of a window. I think the one thing that Man United fans have been screaming for ever since Michael Carrick left is sorting out that midfield. And that's the one thing we've actually done. So that gives us more confidence to build a platform of whatever Man United attack or defense is going to be like. Do I think we win the league? No. But I feel like because Man United have done this before, and in the post-Fergie era, we've made the Champions League. We've had a bad window. I don't think we're having a bad window right now, which is good. So we've kind of got that monkey off our back. It's what do we do the next season? Normally, the season after we make the Champions League, it goes tits up and the manager gets sacked in November. Hopefully, that doesn't happen. I just hope that Man United need to start being consistent in the Champions League again. And it irks me to say that because that never used to be the case. And the top four didn't exist to me back then. It was just, do we win the title this year or how are we defending our title? But I think realistically, if we're genuinely being realistic, Man United need to stay in the Champions League. They need to stay within the top three. And then maybe next season, then we can start using the T word. Maybe if Charlie Baleba comes in and another left back comes in and he's quite decent, we can start using the T word, which is whether it's trophies or titles, which I'm here for. But I still look at our attack and I don't know what I'm going to get. I don't know what I'm going to get from Marcus Rashford. I don't know. I know what I'm going to get from Cunha and Bumo and maybe Sesko. I don't know what I'm going to get from Aman just because I think Aman's a really good player, but the numbers need to go up. And the numbers were up, but that's when he was playing wing back. So now he's going to play right wing. I need to see the numbers produce. But we have a decent squad now. We're going to be playing 2-3 games a week, which is what Man United are used to. So I'm optimistic. As you said, this is the most optimistic I've ever been about Man United in a long time. And I have to give credit to Ineos because this was never going to happen. It's still happening under the Glazers, but Ineos have come in. They've made us look shrewd in the market and they've done a lot of bad things, but they've also done a decent amount of good as well, which has not happened for the past God knows how many years. So I am optimistic. I would like to say title charge, but being realistic, it is anywhere within the top three with a trophy. If we can show what Arsenal showed in 22-23, where they're like, "Oh, this is a good football team. Oh, there may be one or two pieces away. Maybe not a Declan Rice, but after 22-23, they're like a Declan Rice away. That makes them title challengers. If we can have a good season under Michael Carrick, playing good football, showing consistency, and going into next season, we can be talking about Arsenal and United for the title. I'm very happy with that because Man United could then spend again. We can then do what we need to do and spend big on where we actually need to. And really and truly, if we do that, there's only going to be a couple more pieces to add to the puzzle. So hopefully, I'm praying. And we are looking towards that as well, because one thing Michael Carrick did is he won a lot of Premier League games. He only lost 2 Premier League games and he only drew, I think, 2 as well. The rest he won. We beat big teams. We beat U-Man home and away. We beat Liverpool home and away. We beat Arsenal away. Should have beaten them at home, but Altay Bayende, we'll talk about that later. We beat everyone we needed to beat. So if we can show that consistency and show that football that Michael Carrick was trying to play, I think Man United could be a really good team. And I think Man United could maybe challenge, but I don't want to say challenge because I think it's still too early. Like, give me after game week 2, once we've beaten Hull in Ipswich, I'll be screaming title challenge. I'll be screaming 21. But until then, I think top 3 in a trophy would be a very good season for Man United.
Okay, that's I think pretty
it's
realistic.
Reasonable, isn't it?
No,
like,
yeah,
it was
yeah, considering that you finished 3rd last year, like I think if you're a Man United fan to say I want to consolidate being in the top 3 and a trophy, that's a more than reasonable take. That's a more than reasonable take. And then you're also fair to say, let me see how the first 2 or 3 games play out, and then if we've won all 3 of them, then let's have a conversation, because that's part of being a football fan. Obviously, we're journalists and we analyze the game objectively, or try to be objective, but also I like the fact that football journalism has moved and people aren't trying to pretend that they don't support football clubs anymore. Because like the reason why we all fall in love with football is because you fall in love with a club or a player, and so like the fact that Alex Crook could be TalkSport's chief football correspondent, but also be an unashamed Manchester United fan, I think that's a good thing, right? And so when you're factoring in your analysis, of course, some bias is going to come in there from me as a Chelsea fan, you as a United fan, but I think that it's balanced as well, right? And I think that the prediction of finishing 3rd and a trophy is more than fair considering what you did last season. Can I ask you, on Man United, based on the reports that Balaba's coming in, we'll say Balaba's a Manchester United player, based on your transfers that you've done, and when everybody's fit, so best case scenario, what's Man United's best starting 11 next season, quickly? Everyone
For
fit
me,
and Belaib's
for
a player.
me personally, I would say Sene Lammens in goal.
Hmm.
I would say Mazraoui right back because you know how I feel about Diogo Dalot. Matthias de Ligt and Lissandro Martinez as our centre backs, and Luke Shaw as our left back, whether he's fit or not. The midfield three, I would go with Baleba, Mainu, and Bruno Fernandes. And my front three, it would be Benjamin Sesko and Boomer or Ahmad. Take your pick. I don't mind which one. Maybe Ahmad because I think he can go on the inside and outside. And I would say Mateus Cunha, left wing.
Interesting. And if
Yeah.
obviously like football doesn't work like this, but if everyone is fit and say that team can stay fit for the whole season, is that when you then say potentially title charge?
Yeah, because I feel like if I go with that team to any Premier League team right now, I feel like we can expect a win. I feel
Interesting.
like I can take that team to any Premier League team, home or away, and I can expect to win. So if that team can stay consistently fit, then yeah, why not title charge? But football doesn't work like that, and you never know what's going to happen. But then if I name the people that were on the bench, that was Mbumo on the bench, that was Rashford on the bench, that was Tielemans, Andre Santos on the bench, that was Lenny Yoro, Aiden Heaven on the bench, that was Dorgu on the bench. Like we are starting to players that can come in and make an impact. That's what Man United have lacked for God knows how long. So
Yeah.
it's
No,
looking
no.
optimistic right now.
No, and when you again, I think it takes listening to a fan of a club because we can all have opinions on clubs, and we're not in the minutiae of it. We're not on the Twitter. We're not, you know what I mean, on the blogs like reading everything. So when you're telling me about Man United, then you paint it like that, and you tell me your best team, and then you tell me the players that if everyone's fit, the players that who be on the bench would be Rashford and then Buemo and Heaven and Euro and Santos and Tielemans. Then you say, oh, that's a very good team. That's a very good squad. And so yeah, like. I can appreciate why, as a Manchester United fan, you don't want to say it right now in the middle of August, but you're saying if everything goes right, we should be able to challenge for a title. I don't hate it.
Put
I actually
it
don't hate
this way: we play City at home very early. I think it's our fourth game. It's our second home game. If Man United win that game and have won the first two games, everything changes. Everything changes. The whole narrative, because the transfer window will be done. Man United would have won 3 out of their first 4 games,
Yeah.
regardless of what happens in the third one. And people, and especially beating City at home that early, the narrative, and just because it's Man United we're talking about here, we are Man United, the narrative in everyone's mind are going to change. Everyone's going to be like, oh, Man United might be good. Like, Man United might be a team that we don't want to play right now. And with even though it's a small sample size, with the small sample size of what Michael Carrick's shown as soon as he's come in at United, to have that start, people might just think, oh, this championship form that Man United were on last season, they've now got better players. They've now beaten City. And the thing is, beating City won't be that hard because we can touch on City later, but this isn't Pep Guardiola City. This is City in their post-Pep era, which is God knows what that's gonna be like. So that the first 2 games are expected of Man United to win. But that first Manchester derby, if Man United win that at home as well, Old Trafford, it's a great start for Michael Carrick to have to really maybe change my expectations of top 3 in the trophy to title charge on the trophy.
Yeah, no, you know what? I'm in the same boat with Chelsea as well. Our first game of the season is Fulham away. Then we've got Brighton at home. And then the next game, like you say, is when the transfer window closes, and that's Arsenal away. And so again, it's a stage of like, I think we win our first 2 games, Fulham and Brighton. If you don't win those first 2 games, fans are gonna have questions. I think we do win those games quite comfortably as well. I think batter Fulham first day. But then the task is Arsenal away. And if Chelsea are going to put a show in Arsenal away, and heaven forbid Chelsea actually managed to go and beat Arsenal at their place for the first time in like 6 years or 7 years, then you start to have different conversations, right? And the same Manchester United. If you go and beat City, I know it's at home, but if you go and beat City and you won your first 3 games this season, why would it'd be anti-football for me to look at a Man United fan who says title charge and me say no, dismiss it. They might be wrong ultimately, but that's how you should feel. If you win your first 3 games, one of them is against one of your biggest rivals, then you should feel like you can go on to do big things this season. So those are 2 teams, Tony. Those are 2 teams boxed off, and I can't understand your optimism because Belaber's kind of changed the face of everything. And that's what I actually want to ask you really quick before we move on to a different team.
Go on.
It was okay. How can I word this? I think Bruno Fernandes is a great player. And I've come around to that thought. I think he's a very good player. I think last season he had a record-breaking season, and if he, for your sake, you hope it's not true, but if he leaves Man United having never won like a major, at least he's got that assist record to his name, which I think is something he deserves for the work he's put in over the last 5 or 6 years. But I was on record 2 years ago, before he had that incredible season last year, saying Manchester United will never win the big ones with Bruno Fernandes being their best player, which I think he is right now, or considered to be a best player right now. And there's been rumours and reports in recent weeks about Turkey sniffing around Bruno Fernandes. I saw some loose Saudi Arabia links to Bruno Fernandes, who's now into his 30s. Do you think Man United can win a major of Bruno Fernandes being your best player? And if a substantial offer came in for Bruno Fernandes this summer, would you take it?
Gosh, you know what? Honestly, if you asked me this last season, you would have known my answer. But I think my answer is changing now because of the dynamic of Manchester United. I feel like, I don't want to give him credit, but Ruben Amorim playing Bruno in the pivot has really slowed the game down for him. It's made him not treat the ball as a grenade as such. And he still has that aspect to his game because that's how he gets his, like, towards the end of last season, where he knew the assist record was there, he started doing some BS, which was like, and it wasn't even crazy BS that we've seen in the previous of Bruno Fernandes. It was just like, I need this assist record. I'm just going to be putting balls to everyone. I think now that if the midfielders we can play behind Bruno Fernandes are either going to equate to Baleba, Mainu, Santos, Tielemans, all players who can keep the ball, all players who can win the ball back. Maybe not Tielemans, but Tielemans has Premier League experience to know how to keep the ball, and he can, all players that can pass or even dribble through the lines, to a Bruno Fernandes who's going to be at that end of the pitch rather than in the midfield, then I feel like that can work. I feel like, no, I wouldn't sell Bruno Fernandes right now. And two, I think if Bruno Fernandes' job is to create chances and score goals again, I would like to see goals in his game again, because even though he scored 9 goals, some of them were penalties, but I missed the Bruno Fernandes of him getting the 15 assists and 18. I missed that Bruno Fernandes, the one that used to shoot. But if he's now not having to collect the ball,
do you miss that Bruno Fernandes?
Midfield,
do you miss him?
I missed the output. No, okay.
You miss the output.
I missed
you
the
don't
output.
Miss the player. You don't miss the player.
No, I don't miss the player. No,
Yeah,
I missed the output. I missed the output of that Bruno Fernandes, because he had Martial, Rashford, and in front of him, with Pogba next to him, and he could just do whatever he wanted. So I think now with those 4 midfielders behind him, if I get a Bruno Fernandes in the 10 role, I think I'm really happy with that. I feel like there's still questions on Bruno Fernandes, because I know you don't watch United pre-season, but he didn't play. He's missed 2 penalties in pre-season, and he didn't have a really good World Cup. And like, if you remember, like him, he didn't really do anything during the World Cup, and it was all like, is this Bruno? Especially him coming off that Premier League record, everyone was like, is this Ronaldo's team? Is this Bruno Fernandes' team? After him not having, I think if he didn't have that World Cup, this wouldn't be that big of a question. But because everyone saw it, and we saw all the big players perform at the World Cup, and I'm not going to say you're going to put Bruno in those Haaland conversations, but with that record, that's an all-time record. Bruno should be somewhere near there. He should have had a way better World Cup than what he did. So the fact that he didn't, I think, like, puts a bit of questions in our mind. Like, does he still have that tendency to be the cheeks Bruno Fernandes we once knew? However, I do just think, you know what, when it comes to Bruno Fernandes, if we can play him as a 10 and we now have competent midfielders behind him, he can lead us to a title, which I never would have said 12 months ago, 18 months ago, how many years ago. I feel like he could. If that's his one job, because I think he's the greatest to do it in the Premier League, is to create chances and score goals. If that's his one job in the team, I'm fine with it.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. I don't hate. I still don't think that Bruno Fernandes can be the man to lead Man United to a title, but maybe I'll be proved wrong.
And I don't blame you. This is me with my Man United hat on. If everything is rosy and all our midfielders are cool, and that's me with my Man United tint on. Like, I totally get why you say that, because we've never seen Bruno Fernandes be the main man and lead someone to a major trophy, let alone title. We've never seen that.
Yeah.
We've asked him 2 times to take the Europa League final by the scruff of the neck, and he stunk it up. When he was maybe Portugal's main man, this World Cup stunk it up. So I totally get why you have those reservations. I'm just saying, now that we have a competent midfield, maybe it could work.
Yeah, maybe. And again, it remains to be seen, but I think Man United will probably end up keeping Bruno Fernandes this summer. All right, you want to rattle through these other teams. So we've done Arsenal, done Chelsea, we've done Manchester United. Let's go to City. City. Got their backsides handed to them, belt to backside in the Community Shield final. Enzo Maresca, the snake who torpedoed Chelsea season in order to get this move to Man City, has now realised that maybe the grass isn't always greener. And you got Man City who have lost a John Stones, have lost a Rodri, have lost a Bernardo Silva, lost their manager. And this is just talking about this summer, last year, lost Kevin De Bruyne. How much experience has gone out of that City dressing room? And now all of a sudden, they look vulnerable, Tony. They look like they're not the big dogs anymore. They look like they're not the sharks, and people are hunting them. What's your thoughts on City?
Welcome to Death Row, front neighbours. Really and truly, because this is the start of the post-Pep era, and it's not going to look pretty. And I'm telling you from experience of once you lose that guy who was doing absurd things for you, it doesn't get greener. And not only that, you've lost your best player, someone who is probably going to go down as one of the greatest midfielders ever. You've lost him. We all know when you play without him, it's not good. And that was even under Pep. And remember, Pep, for the past 2 seasons, really and truly, City have been vulnerable. For the past 2 seasons. Now that Rodri's gone, just thank God they have Haaland. Haaland's their only saving grace, because honestly, I have no idea what we're going to expect from City. This could be really bad. And I don't think, for me, really bad is going to be top 4, top 6. But if you ever said City were ever, when City finished 3rd, the season Liverpool won a title, everyone was like, whoa, like, is Pep going to leave that season? And he left the season after. So I just think this is going to be the start of the post-Pep era. I don't know how it's going to look, but it's not going to be good. They're very lucky they've got Haaland. Phil Foden needs to really step up and show us that he's actually the player that we once thought he was. But honestly, like, I don't think they're going to be anywhere near the title. And that's so crazy to say that. Like, to think, I just don't think they're going to be anywhere near the title. I think top 4, I still think they're good enough and they are better than other teams. But don't be surprised if you're going to see other teams slap up City this year. Like, don't be surprised if not like a Bournemouth, but don't be surprised if, you can't even say Newcastle because no one knows what we're getting out of them. But don't be like the teams that you expected City to win and dog walk. Like, Leeds. Don't be surprised if they lose those games. Do you know what I mean?
Leeds away now becomes a tough game for them.
Do you know what I mean? Like those, like Bournemouth away. We thought, even though they drew that game and that's how Arsenal won the league last year, like we all thought that would be if City are down to it, they could win. That's not happening anymore.
So what? Buwadi or Elliot Anderson, Buwadi midfield's not moving you.
Have they signed Buwadi?
He's on his way.
Is he on his way?
Apparently.
Okay, cool. If they get Ayub Buwadi, baller. Like, I've rated him. I played FM. We all saw him at the World Cup. He can hang. And he's 18. So, calm. Elliot Anderson, I've said it from day dot. I don't see what people see in him. I tried to look at the World Cup. I don't see what people see in him. 100 and something mil, which, again, not his fault. I think he's an all right player. I think he can he can get about the pitch and he can pass the ball. But I don't see what people see in him. I think Morgan Gibbs-White is a better footballer than him. So, personally, like, that's just not going to move me, and that's just not going to replace Rodri. Like, if they dare I say it, I saw Ali say it this morning on TalkSport. If they want to get, like, a Rodri replacement, your closest person is maybe Adam Wharton, just for the profile. I'm not saying Adam Wharton is anywhere near, but that tall... Adam Wharton can do the dirty work, but because remember, Rodri can do the dirty work, but he can also pass the ball, and that's a very
and score goals.
So maybe Adam Wharton is not the goals part, but I think Adam Wharton can do the dirty work in the Premier League, and I think he can also break lines. So if you really and A Buadi could do it as well, but I just don't see how Buadi and Anderson, like, is Anderson now gonna? Because I thought Elliot Anderson was a 6, he's now gonna be your 8.
Yeah,
I
bro,
think
they've got problems.
they've got problems, and John Stone's leaving. Like, who's it gonna be now? Kusanov and someone else. Like, City still have good players, and this is Man City, but I just don't see them gonna be anywhere near the title. With Enzo Maresca in his first season in charge, there's gonna be some teething problems, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I think this could be the first year that Man United finish above City in the post Fergie era. Lord, that's bad.
Yeah, I think there's a chance that happening. I still think City finish in the top 4. I think that it's so hard, right, at this stage of season, post Community Shield, to remove to kind of erase what you saw there, because what we saw there was concerning. Say City won that game 3-0. Our mindset and our conversation is very different here. Obviously, we might still say City struggle, and we might still say Arsenal favourites. But we might not say Arsenal favourites. Say Arsenal got panned in that game and City won it.
Yeah,
We're
no,
having different conversations.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's like, it's so hard, like in the post kind of, Community Shield kind of.
I just feel like they've lost so much, man. They've lost so much. And
I think they struggle.
They're going to struggle, bro. Like, no team can lose one of the greatest managers to ever do it, one of the greatest players to ever do it, and not struggle. They're going
Bernardo
to struggle.
Silva, John Stones, that you can't lose.
They're going to struggle, bro. It's not like they have a bad team. I'm not saying they're gonna like be a mid-table club and it's gonna go back to the good old days of Elano and Stephen Ireland and them, man. But they're going to struggle. This is not going to be the dominant City we once knew, and because we already saw it under Pep in his last 2 years, so it's going to happen, man.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're going to struggle, and we will we'll have to wait and see. But again, it's a hindsight season, right? Say City go and win the league, you'll be like, oh yeah, they still got Haaland. I think it's one of them ones. They're not going to win the league, but if they do, I feel like we'll look back on it and say, oh yeah, that makes sense.
It'll be Haaland. It'll be no one else but Haaland.
Okay, that's City boxed off. I agree with you. I think City struggle. Liverpool. I think they are the most unknown. Like, when you see people ranking their Premier Leagues and saying this is my 1 to 20, some people have Liverpool in second. Some people, crazy people, have Liverpool in first. Some people have Liverpool finishing 6th or 7th. Like, they are the great unknown. Obviously, spent loads of money last summer. Didn't work out. People last summer were calling the greatest transfer window of all time. But you look at it in the cold light of day and say, you brought in Isaac Enekatike, you brought in KWEKU'S and Frimpong. Did any of them work in my man's system, Arne Slot's system? And now they're looking to rebuild again. How do you think Liverpool do this season, Tony?
As you said, it's the biggest unknown. And I think Liverpool's ceiling is not the title.
Yeah.
And my issue is that they haven't. I think Liverpool. I rate Iraola. I think he's such a good manager. Man United have never beaten Andoni Iraola as a player or a manager, so that's going to be fun to do it this season, and especially it will mean more when he's at Liverpool. But my biggest issue is that midfield, and I said it under Arne Slot. Until Liverpool sort that, and Iraola needs to sort that midfield too. Until Liverpool get a 6, it's going to be peak for them, because the way that Liverpool played last season is not like, I don't think they played bad football. I think once they lost the ball, they were just chasing. And now that Van Dijk is not the same Van Dijk we once knew, and KWEKU'S didn't have his good season, and Frimpong, is he a right winger, is he a right back, who knows? When Liverpool are on the defensive transition in the Premier League, the most intense physical league, it looks peak for them. And the way to stop that and to stop those transitions is, one, you can get fast centre-backs that can bail you out of that. But you need a 6. You need a 6 to be screening that front phase and be like, all right, this is what I need to stand here because that's where the cutback's going to be, or I need to stand here because that's where they're, just in case if everyone's pushed forward. And Liverpool, they've got attacking talent. No one's going to deny that. So they're going to push forward. And with Andoni Iraola's system, they're going to press forward. but we need that six. They need that six. Is that who is going to be there? Is my job is to clean up the mess and to give an elbow when I can, and maybe get a tactical yellow when we've messed up the ball, or Szoboszlai and McAllister have lost the ball. And Ryan Gravenberch is not that player. Ryan Gravenberch wants to get forward. Ryan Gravenberch is good at getting forward. Ryan Gravenberch is not that player. And until they get someone like Wataru Endo is that type of profile. I'm not saying they need to get someone like him, but that position, until Liverpool get that six, I can't expect that much from them because they need to fix that issue. And as long as they don't, I'm happy that they haven't as a United fan. But until they fix that issue, I can't put Liverpool anywhere near the upper echelons where people are putting them, because I feel like so many things have to happen. Isak needs to come back to form. Ekatike is practically out for the majority of the year. Let's hopefully, because they signed another centre back, right? They got Ronaldo Araujo on loan, who, if you watched him at Barcelona, was skeptical to a mistake or two. So I don't know how the Premier League is going to work out for them if they're playing a very high line. But there's so many things that need to work out for Liverpool to do well, and that's their biggest issue for me. And until they fix that issue, I have no idea where I'm going to put them. I still think they're going to be a good team, top six, yeah, whatever. It's even top four, but I wouldn't have them finishing above United right now. I wouldn't have them finishing above Chelsea playing week in, week one game a week right now. They're in the unsure. They're in the little unsure bit of the top four with City for me at the moment.
Yeah, I think that Iraola is a top manager. I think Liverpool are a huge unknown, but for some reason I have a sneaky suspicion they're going to be all right. I think they'll be all right. I think we forget that Florian Wirtz is a top player. You know what's so crazy, bro? I was thinking about this. Remember, like Euro 2024, the one that we covered. You saw that Germany team, and you said, "Flipping neck, they've got Wirtz and Musiala." Bro, think about where the stocks of those two players are right now.
Musiala, yeah, bro. I hope Musiala's right. He fainted the other day.
Yeah, man. And he came out with a statement saying he's got a neurological disorder that means they passes out. I shouldn't be laughing, but like if that's your brain or your body telling you to stop playing football, my guy, like that.
That's crazy.
Something like neurological is making you pass out. It's scary to see.
Yeah.
But you think about where those two stocks are, and I do think that Wirtz is a top player. And I saw it last season, bro. Do you know when you just like, if you're going to invest in a coin, I'd invest in Florian Wirtz because I feel like, yeah, man, he's a good player. He's a good player, and Iraola is a good manager. That combination, I'm like, if you're a good manager and you're a good player, because I've seen you be a good player, you'll work under a good manager. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'll be shocked if he's not like one of the better players in the league this year. Obviously, Isak has his injury issues, but Isak, on his day, when they signed him for over 100 million, was one of the best strikers in the world. I feel like Liverpool, people forget they've still got wicked players, man. They've still got wicked players. Like Ekatike, to come back from injury, I know he tore his Achilles, but when he comes back, he's still a wicked player. Isak's a wicked player. So is Florian Wirtz. You look at KWEKU'S, who had his best football under who? Iraola. Who's the manager of Liverpool? Iraola. Like Frimpong, I know people want to write him off, but he's not a dead player. Like he can play football. And I know that Van Dijk, people want to write him off and say that he's done, but I think Van Dijk needs protecting, bro. And when you see, I remember John Terry in the 14-15 season for Chelsea play every single game when Chelsea won the league as a 35-year-old. And I think Van Dijk, he's still got juice in the locker. Bear in mind, it's a Van Dijk that's never played next to like a world-class centre-back. It's a Van Dijk who was carrying a Joe Gomez, a Konate, a Matip, a Lovren. Like, if you put someone next to Van Dijk who can cover him and make up for what he doesn't have in this game anymore, I think he'll be fine. And Alisson's still on his day one of the best keepers in the world. And so Liverpool still have wicked players. And I feel like this is a season where, with a good manager, a bit of stability, no expectations to go and defend the league title or create a dynasty, which is what they had last summer. Bro, last summer, the conversations around Liverpool were, we were at a wedding, we were at Leanne Sanderson's wedding. And we're talking to DJ Spoonie. And both me and you said, yo, if you lot don't win the league, after running away with it and spending all this money, it's unacceptable. And I feel like they played with that pressure. It was like, even at the beginning of the season where they're playing terribly, just winning games, and that's what champions do. I feel like that pressure is completely off. People have no expectations for Liverpool this season. And I feel like with a team that's still got players that remember what it's like to win big trophies, I think they'll be fine, bro. I still think they've got really good players. And I feel like, pound for pound, their best starting 11 can, apart from the number 6 that you're talking about, go up against a lot of teams' best starting 11s.
Yeah, you know what? Like, to an extent, I agree with you. It's just that 6. And
Yeah, I agree.
I guess the defensive transition will maybe be different because it's a new manager.
Yeah.
But for me, man, like to be a top team with your top players, that 6 is such a crucial role. And Florian Wirtz as well. Like I agree, I rated him at Leverkusen highly. If he adapts to the Premier League, we'll have a good player. But I need to see it first. Like I don't want him. I'm not gonna put my shares in. Even though I've got my shares in Dorgu coin, I'm not putting my shares in Florian Wirtz coin.
Yeah, bro. I'm there with Wirtz coin. I just think that like class is permanent, bro. Like I think he's a good player. I think he's a good player.
But there's some players that just can't adapt. Like, bro, maybe people watching this might not remember, but Veron was a perfect example of like class player just didn't even hack in the and people say he didn't hack in the Premier League. He wasn't even that bad. Like he scored 7 or 8 goals for United over a couple of years, but he just wasn't the same player, and that can happen. Like the Kai Havertz I watched in the Bundesliga was not the same player that I watched in the Premier League. But Kai Havertz is a Premier League champion. He's scored in 2 Champions League finals. He's played in he's got a Champions League. It's not like he's had a bad career, but his reputation in the Premier League is just not the same as it was in the Bundesliga. And that can happen. Like it happens, especially with the Bundesliga there's only a couple people that have made that Bundesliga Premier League jump.
Who's made it?
KDB. Gundogan, yeah.
Haaland, obviously.
Haaland, like, do you know what I mean? There's not that many. I thought Shinji Kagawa was gonna be that guy for us, and yeah, he's got a hat-trick against Norwich, but
yeah,
it really worked out.
The two fair, we've just named 3 City players. Maybe it's just Pep. Maybe it's just Pep.
Maybe.
Yeah, okay, interesting. So where you got Liverpool finishing? Or no, wait, don't do it yet. We'll do our top 6 at the end of
after we'll do our top 6. Yeah.
So what other team we got to do? Let's do
Spurs. We haven't done Spurs.
Yeah.
And you as a Chelsea, well, because you know Bill at TalkSport, right?
Yeah.
And the Tech Up. Like, I haven't seen him in ages, and the smile he had in his face. Bear in mind, I haven't seen Billy in ages, but the last time I saw Bill, he was like, "I genuinely think we're gonna get relegated." And Spurs fans have gone from "I genuinely feel like we're gonna get relegated" to optimism, which is insane to me, considering they've had 2 terrible seasons, not just 1, 2 terrible seasons in the Premier League where teams were beating them week in, week out. So they've signed Sandro Tonali, they've signed Mateus Fernandes, they've signed other players that I don't really know about.
Van Hecker, signing.
Van Hecker, yeah. Senesi, yeah.
Senesi on the free. Andrew Robertson on the free.
Yeah, like That takes them from 17th to where, Kweku? Where does it take them to? Because I don't know.
I think Spurs going to have a good season, man. I think.
So what is a good season? Is it better than what they've been showing us for the past 2 years, or a genuinely good season for a good Spurs team?
Top 7. Spurs be back in the top 7. That's a good season for Spurs, bro. They finished 17th the last 2 years, bro. Top 7 is a good season for Spurs. Like, I feel like Mateus Fernandes. I don't really understand the hype. A man has been relegated the last 2 seasons with 2 different teams, but whatever. Tonali spent a lot of money on him. I like the Van Hecker signing. I think that's a good signing. I like the Senesi signing on a free. That's a really good signing. And I think they'll just be better than what they were, because De Zerbi is a better manager than what they previously had. I think that Spurs will go about their business. They won't be easy to play against. And now when you look at the calendar, and last season there were some games where you're just like, okay, cool, I've got Spurs. That's a win. That's not the case. That's not going to be the case of the season. Spurs away, all of a sudden on the calendar looks like a tough game. And that's what they need to get back to. Being a tough out. Being a difficult team to play against. Not rolling over and having their belly tickled. Because for the last 2 seasons, however you want to paint it, 2 years ago, but we won the Europa League, cool, but you finished 17th. Like last season, we had different managers, cool, but you finished 17th. This season, you need to restore some respect. And the problem for Spurs is that, unfortunately, over the last 3 or 4 seasons, they've never been able to fill the void of Harry Kane or Heung-min Son, who are 2 of the greatest players in their history.
They still have a striker, dude, don't they?
Yeah, they don't have a striker, bro. They don't have a striker, they don't have a left winger, and those are the 2 positions that were filled by 2 of their greatest players of all time. they're going to struggle to score goals consistently because of that, but I think they'll be good defensively.
I agree with you that we're going to see a better Spurs under Roberto De Zerbi. I totally agree with you. But it's just a massive unknown because for the past 2 years, they've been stinking it up. And yeah, a manager can change that. Yeah, a couple players can change that. But I feel like the bad apples are still there. And I don't know who these bad apples are because I don't care about Spurs that much. But I'm not saying they're going to finish 17th. They will definitely probably finish in the top half. But I don't think all of those signings and Roberto De Zerbi come in, I don't think it just shoots them back up to the top 6 or 7. I feel like they could. I just don't think it's just automatic that they go back to that because I feel like teams have improved around them. Like, are they better than Brighton? Are they better than Fabian Hurtzler's second or third season than Brighton? Can they do you know what I mean? I just don't think they shoot up there straight away. I would like to be wrong because I think De Zerbi is a good manager and I feel like they've made some good signings, but nothing has moved me for them to be like, yeah, Spurs are already straight back in the top 6. Like 17th twice is hard to shake off, especially for a team like Spurs.
But do you know what? Why I just feel like, bro, this no Europe thing. Bro, there's 9 teams in the Premier League that are playing in Europe. Arsenal, City, United, Villa, Liverpool, Bournemouth, Sunderland, Palace, and Brighton, bro. Like that Europe thing for a team like Sunderland or a team like Bournemouth is going to take you out, bro. That shit is going to take you out. That shit for Brighton is going to take you out. And I think for the team like Spurs, that are just a bigger club than those teams, like that one game a week is like if they're playing Bournemouth, who on a Thursday had to travel to Bratislava, and then on a Sunday have got to play against Spurs. You know what I mean? Long day for Bournemouth and Brighton and Sunderland. And those are 3 teams that overachieved last season that I think Spurs will finish above. I think Spurs finish above Brighton. I think Spurs finish above Sunderland. I think Spurs finish above Bournemouth. Do you know what I mean? And so, like, those are places you can make up. And then you got the 3 promoted teams I think Spurs finish ahead of. That's 6 teams already. And then you got the teams in mid-table that I think Spurs are better than. So then that's why I'm like, 7th, 8th, like, that should be a no-brainer. Because, come on, man. If you can't, then burn the club down and start again.
Okay. So let's round off. I want you to give me your top 6 prediction because we can talk about relegated clubs, but really and truly, like, I feel like a lot of the two of them go down, or maybe all 3 of them go down.
Yeah, wait, your mic cut out. Can you hear me? Let us know that we're about to rank our top 6, bro. I'll ask what our top 6 is. Bro. Okay, so you know what I mean? My top 6. I'll let you go first. I need to write it down, bro. I need to write it down. Yeah,
bro. I'm thinking about it right now.
Let me just work this out. So, okay, they're number 1. Okay, you say yours.
Okay, I'll say mine. I think, realistically, Arsenal finished top. This is me just being realistic. United second.
Okay.
I'm going based off everything we were talking about. Third is difficult because I feel like 3rd, 4th, 5th for me is a toss-up between Chelsea, Liverpool, and City. I'm going to go City 3rd just because of previous. Sorry, bro.
That's right. Yeah, the screen's gone off. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Can you hear me and see me?
I can't see you. I can hear you.
Oh. Can you see me now?
Nah.
Oh, right, I can see you.
Yeah,
just but you can hear me though, right?
I can hear you, yeah.
Okay, cool.
It'll still be recording.
Yeah, it'll be recording. All right, we'll start that again. All right, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, so our top 6 predictions. I'm gonna go with Arsenal first. It hates me to say it. But that's the first time Arsenal defend a Premier League title, which is strange to me. But hey
Bro,
ho.
it's the first time Arsenal would have defended the title since the 30s.
Yeah, what makes you think I'm going to do? I don't know. Just because I feel like they're just the most consistent team, and consistency is a very in an unknown Premier League season. Consistency is going to be very key. So I've got Arsenal top. I've got United second. Dare I say it? City third. Chelsea fourth. Liverpool fifth. But that's only just. This is based before the transfer window is done. A lot can change.
Wait,
and
who's sixth? Who's sixth? Who's sixth?
Spurs or et al. Spurs or someone else.
Okay.
And the third to fifth is a toss-up because I'm only putting you-man fourth because I feel like you're playing one game a week, so I've got to put you up there. I have no idea what to expect from City. I have no idea what to expect from Liverpool. So I feel like you, City, Liverpool all finish between third and fifth, but I don't know in which particular order. But that's what I'm going for. But have you got yours?
Yeah. Okay. In first place, Arsenal.
Yeah.
That's head, obviously over heart. But I just feel like they're going to do something. Do you know what's so crazy? Can you name me, just real quick trivia?
Go on.
The three managers to defend Premier League titles.
Pep Guardiola, Sir Alex Ferguson, Jose Mourinho.
Yeah. Do you know how crazy that is? Like
that's crazy.
You could argue those are the three greatest modern managers. Probably add Ancelotti to that. But in terms of modern football, you could say that those are three of the four greatest managers in modern football, and they're the only three managers who have ever been able to defend the Premier League title.
Yeah, what makes me think Arteta's gonna do
that's the thing, and that's what's scary, right? And that's what tells you where football's at. Because I think Arteta will do it, but is he cut from the cloth of a?
But is he cut from that same cloth? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. But results are results, and you can't hate on it. So yeah, I've got Arsenal winning it. That's my head. Number 2, second in the league, Chelsea.
Oh, out the Chelsea.
Out the Chelsea. Third, Liverpool. Fourth, City.
Wow, you don't rate us, okay? I like this.
Fifth, United.
No, put us sixth, bro. I know you want to put us sixth, bro.
No. Fifth, United. Sixth, Villa. Justification, I think everyone knows about Arsenal. Chelsea, like I said, I expect us to challenge. No European football. I think we've got a good front three, blah, 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 blah. Liverpool, I think they've got wicked players. They've like Iraola restore the respect at that football club. They'll win more games than they don't win, and I feel like they'll have a good season. And I think at Liverpool, keep a little cheeky eye out for Europe. Like I think that club has got something when it comes to that competition. I feel like, yeah, let's just see. City, fourth. I think they finished in the top 4, but I think this is a learning curve for Maresca. They won't sack him. They'll give him time. But this will be a tough season for City fans. Fifth, United. I think fifth gets Champions League football. I've still got question marks about Michael Carrick as a top level manager. Maybe he'll prove me wrong. Maybe he'll get the results. But I just feel like, how many top
level managers does he have to beat to for you to question him? I don't think he's top level yet because you need to have a season. But how many more does he have to beat?
I just want to see him contend with a season where he has to have European football as well. That's what I need to see.
Yeah. That's fine. That's fair.
If you're top manager, like you have to see what you're like dealing with multiple competitions. And if he does that, then I'll be like fair. And I think fifth, I think qualifying for the Champions League would not be a bad season for Michael Carrick as Manchester United manager, despite the fact that you'd want more. Sixth, Villa. And I think Villa always gets slept on. People will probably put Spurs above Villa, but I think Villa, that new striker, Majo?
Yeah.
He looks interesting.
He looks alright, and he's like 17 apparently.
Yeah. Allegedly.
No, I think he's 17. Like, come on, bro. I played against niggas like that and they were 14. I played niggas like that were in Gladesmore and they were like 14, so I've seen that. He's from Ends.
Yeah. He's Isn't he also from like Luxembourg or something?
I don't know. I ain't done my research. I just saw him giving William Pacho nightmares, bro.
Yeah. He gave Pacho absolute fits. But yeah, I feel like they've just got a good team. I think Emery's a good manager, and he'll get them back into Europe. And I think they'll finish 6th, and I've got Spurs in 7th. So not too dissimilar in terms of what we've got. Obviously, we both got our teams finishing second, and we've got Arsenal winning the league. So yeah, that's the prediction for the Premier League for the upcoming season.
You know what? We'll look back at this because United fifth is I don't know why that's irked me a bit, but that's fine. That's cool.
Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah.
Right, yeah. Chelsea second and United fifth. And so do we make a bet now that United finish above Chelsea?
Let's do it, bro. What's the bet?
Yeah, let's do it. What's the bet?
Dinner.
Oh.
I think dinner bets are better.
Yeah, dinner. That's cool, bro. That's dinner.
Dinner bets are better.
Dinner.
So dinner at like a night, somewhere nice.
Somewhere nice, yeah. Somewhere in SWC. You got to take me Australasia or something like that.
Yeah, I got you, bro.
Got a wine and dime me, front neighbour.
I got you, bro. I got you. But yeah, I think Chelsea finished above Man United, and I don't think it's particularly close.
You don't think it's... All right, you know what? On that note, we're going to end it there. Thank you for watching another episode of RNS. Like, share, subscribe. We are back. All of that.